Good morning, students. Welcome in science class. Chapter 9, the living organisms and their surroundings. We are doing characteristic of living things. Today we will discuss living organism and excretion. You know, all living things, they take food. And living things use this food to obtain energy by the process of respiration. And not all the food that is eaten is really used. Only part of it is utilized by the body. Our body, we also take food. And from the food we get energy for doing the various activities. And only part of the food is used by our body. Then what happens to that unused part of the food? What happens to the rest? Question will arise. Yes, of course. This has to be removed by the body as the waste. So this unused part of the food taken by the living organism is waste and it has to be removed. So the process of getting rid of this waste by the living organisms is known as excretion, or the removal of waste substances from the body of a living organism is called excretion. So all the living things get rid of the waste from inside themselves, which they don't want. The question will arise that do plants also excrete? Yes, of course. Some harmful or poisonous waste materials are also produced in plants. So plants also excrete. However, the mechanism in plants are little different. Like other living beings, they are having the different process of excreting their waste material. Some harmful or poisonous materials do get produced in plants as the waste. Some plants find it possible to store the waste products within their parts in a way that they do not harm the plant as a whole. This line you have to remember it, that whatever waste, some plants, they find it possible to store that waste product, whatever waste product is produced, they store it, they inside their plant only in such a way that they don't harm the whole plant. उससे उसका पूरा प्लांट है वो खराब नहीं होगा, उस हिसाब से वो वेस्ट है वो स्टोर करेंगे. But some plants remove waste products as secretion. How? The plants get rid of this waste by shedding of leaves, sometimes by peeling of bark, sometimes by felling of fruits. Or some plants secrete a large number of waste products like gum. कोई ट्री के ऊपर आपने गम जैसा दिखा होगा, like a gum, like a resin. And this gum and this resin or the rubber solution what you are finding on that tree, they are sometimes useful to the human beings. So excretion is another characteristic common to all living things. Non-living things do not excrete. Keep this thing in your mind. For example, take rock. Rock is a non-living thing which does not produce and excrete any waste material. So non-living things don't show the characteristic of excretion. Next characteristic, do all living things reproduce their own kind? First of all, what is the meaning of reproduction? The process by which living organisms produce of their own kind is called reproduction. All living things, here you see mother is having a baby. So we human beings reproduce by giving birth to the babies. Have you ever seen nest of some birds like pigeons? Some birds lay eggs in the nest. See here figure given in your textbook, figure 9.13. First figure, birds lay eggs which after hatching produce, figure B, young ones. So some of the eggs may hatch and young birds come out of this. So modes of reproduction in different animals are different. Some animals reproduce by giving birth to their young ones, whereas some animals they reproduce their young ones through their eggs. For example, human beings, just now I told you, we human beings reproduce by giving birth to babies, and the animals such as dogs, cats, cow, horse, deer, lion also reproduce by giving birth to their young ones. But the animals like birds and the fishes, they reproduce through eggs. Birds, they lay eggs which on hatching they produce the young ones. So birds such as hens, pigeons, sparrow, crow, parrot, duck, all these they lay eggs and from there young ones are produced. Animals reproduce their own kind. The mode of reproduction may be different in different animals. Some animals produce their young ones through eggs. Some animals give birth to the young ones. Plants also reproduce like animals? Yes, plants also reproduce like animals. Plants also have different modes of reproduction. Some of the common modes of reproduction in plants are: some reproduce through seeds, some reproduce through buds, some plants reproduce through cutting. First, plants which reproduce from the seeds. Now see, plants produce seeds. In your textbook figure 9.15 it is given. Seeds which germinate and grow into new plants. So when seeds are sown in the moist soil, seeds germinate and grow into new plants. Next method, that how some plants reproduce through the buds. Take the example of the potato. For example, a part of the potato with a bud. Yes, you know, in the form 5 also you had studied, in form 4 also you had studied that the potato is having a bud known as the eye on it, and from that new plants, new potato start growing, new plants start growing, grows into a new plant, figure 9.16. See this figure clearly, how that from that potato a bud is having on that potato, and from that new plant start growing. See, yes. So some plants they produce from the bud on there, and from that new plants are growing. Then third mode of reproduction, that some plants reproduce through cuttings, and how a small part of a plant is removed by making a cut with a sharp knife, and this process is called cutting. And cutting may be a piece of stem, root, or from a leaf also. Best example, that is the rose plant. You know that rose plant they grow by the method of cutting. So these are the different modes of reproduction. So after a few days the cutting develops roots and grows into a new plant. The plants such as rose, grapes, sugarcane can be grown by the cutting methods. So, students, every living things are showing this method of reproduction, but non-living things, they don't show the method of reproduction. So today we had seen excretion and reproduction. Now movement is remaining. So in the next video we will cover the movement and some textual questions. Students, go through each and every line of this topic, characteristic of living things. All living things need food. All living things show growth. All living things respire. All living things respond to stimuli. All living organisms excrete. All living things reproduce their own kind. Only one characteristic, that is the movement. And the definite lifespan also we will cover it. That is remaining. So students, go through this, and today in the prep I will give you some keywords that you have to copy down in your CW book one time. Thank you and have a nice day.